Happy Gilmore is a must-watch movie. Happy Gilmore is one of those movies that everybody recognizes. If you're the older generation, it's one of the best comedies ever. And if you're one of the younger generation, it's one of the best comedies ever. No debate. Starring one of the most iconic actors, Adam Sandler, also being known as a well-rounded sports movie, Happy Gilmore has a lot of different elements to look at. We're going to be taking a little look at Happy Gilmore today, talking about the plot, characters, and of course my likes and dislikes. If you're up for it, go ahead and give us a subscribe. Make sure to support our channel along the way, as we hope to reach 1,000 subs before the end of the year. And with that being said, let's jump ahead into the plot.
Oh yeah, bring that shit on, man. Oh god, I love it. Awesome.
The movie's about Happy Gilmore, a hockey player who's only really good at beating the shit out of people with a really nice slap shot, learns how to transition into the world of golf. His grandma didn't pay taxes, so Happy desperately tries to earn money to save her house. After rising up through the ranks of the Masters tournament, he finally gets the chance to earn the greatest prize of them all, the golden jacket. Which he does. Woohoo. Yippee. Well done, Happy. I have a couple of questions about the plot. For starters, the bank is a total asshole through the whole movie. The bank will go and tell Happy that he can go buy his house, with no other specifics added to that statement. And then when Happy does have the money to go buy the house back, they say, oh, sorry, it was an auction. Why would you not tell him that sooner? Like, that did not even need to happen. There's a lot of very questionable actions that Happy does in this movie that he gets no consequences for. Like the numerous people that he assaults, the loads of property damage he causes, the outright profanity on live television.
Suck my white ass ball!
It just goes on and on. I guess ratings really is important to golf. Let's talk about where the grandma is actually living now. In the movie, while they wait for Happy to buy the house back, she is taken to an elderly home, which has my brother's favorite actor, Ben Stiller, as a nursing home employee. He kind of runs it like a jail, but how do you even get away with that?
You could trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up.
There's so many things going on in this place that is insane, and yet nobody calls the place out on this. Mainly just for shits and giggles, but nobody really seems to care. I've only got a couple other complaints, like Virginia randomly falls for Happy. There wasn't really an indicator that he was a good guy, or that she really even needed to have a relationship, but Adam Sandler's gotta bang some hot chick. Also, side note, this doesn't really apply to this movie, but Adam Sandler loves to cast his wife in the movies that he's playing in. Never as his wife, though. He always has to cast somebody who's much hotter than his wife to be in the movie, and the wife never gets to be his wife. And finally, near the end of the movie, Shooter buys Happy's grandma's house, and then they make this verbal bet on what they're gonna do, which leads to the end of the movie. But I'm surprised that Shooter McGavin even honored the agreement in the first place. Like, this is a verbal dispute and he just bought the house. He had no obligation to give that house back. My only guess is he was threatened by that big ugly dude. Those are my complaints about the plot, but I'm pretty biased towards this movie. I think it doesn't matter that much. It feels like a lot of scenes have a purpose. There are some bits of randomness that just kind of feels like throwaway comedy, but it's still charming. On to the characters.
Better luck next year. No, that wasn't very nice.
Happy frickin' Gilmore. He is short-tempered, stubborn, and a family man. Happy's also very obnoxious, but then again, it's an Adam Sandler movie, so of course he is. He doesn't really learn any valuable lessons. Over time, he tries to improve his golf game, and I think the best I can say for what lesson Happy learns in this movie is that golf isn't as gay as he thought it was. Yippee! There wasn't really any need for development in Happy. His existence in the movie alone was enough to carry it to the popularity it got. So for most movies, I would rag on the character more, but I'll give it a pass on this one. Let's talk about the main antagonist of Happy Gilmore, Shooter McGavin. The guy who plays Shooter is in so many other movies, and yet I have no fucking idea what this guy's name is. I've seen this movie countless times, and I've seen other movies he's been in, like superhero movie, and I still have no clue what his name is. Shooter McGavin is very desperate, with a do-anything-to-win mentality. He would literally drown a puppy if it meant that he got the golden jacket. That's how committed he was to this. He's also a pretty big narcissist that feels entitled. Oh, well, I did golf for many years. I need to earn that golden jacket. Instead of, you know, being good enough to win the jacket. I would say besides Happy, he's the most entertaining part of this movie. You watch this movie just to see him get his comeuppance. He's that smug. He's that egotistical. I love it. Virginia. She starts off as a normal reporter for golf. Now not really much to add to her character besides that. And in all honesty, by the end of the movie, there's not a lot to say either. Like I mentioned, I'm not sure how she ends up with Happy in the first place. It just seems very out of left field. But I can think of no memorable character traits for her, which is sad, because in a lot of Adam Sandler movies, you actually do remember the female lead a little bit more. And this one, very forgettable. There's Chubbs, who is Happy Gilmore's coach. I can honestly make the argument that Chubbs is the best character in the film. I know I said something similar about Happy and Shooter, but Chubbs is somebody who captivates the screen whenever he's on it. The voice of reason in a lot of ways. So fun to watch. And the final character I think is worth mentioning is Happy's grandma. Just like any TV or movie grandma, she's the sweetest thing in the world. She also gets put through hell by Ben Stiller, but she's the best sport, even through all that. And there's other different side characters too that you might see, like You Suck, You Jackass guy, Happy's hobo that he turns into a caddy, that big guy who we'll probably get to in a little bit. But I think that's it for characters. Now on to the likes and dislikes.
Hate that clown.
I always like to start off positive, and there's a lot of positives in here, mainly just quotes. The first thing that really stands out about this movie, and that most people talk about when they think about Happy Gilmore, is Bob Barker's appearance. Rest in peace. You wouldn't think Bob Barker would be that entertaining in a comedy movie, but then when you see him in his 5 minutes that he has in this movie, it is arguably the best scene of the entire film. Happy gets a very quotable one-liner in,
The price is wrong, bitch.
and then proceeds to get his shit kicked in. Happy's entire first round of golf is worth watching this movie alone, just to see the absurdity that he goes through with his Boston Brewers jersey and hockey mentality towards golf. There's one of my favorite quotes of the whole movie.
You suck, you jackass.
The soundtrack of the movie is actually great. Like, there are some really good songs that they chose in this movie. I recommend looking it up after this video just to get a listen to it. There's another memorable line.
Son of a bitch, Paul, why didn't you just go home? That's your home!
And finally, the entire putt-putt mini golf scene. But more specifically, this.
Yeah! You're gonna die, clown!
Now on to my main dislike. And my only real issue with this movie, besides some of the nitpicking things I talked about with the plot. Sometimes things will just happen for no other reason than to just show off a character. And I don't even call that character development. It's just a character doing something stupid. And then that's it. There's moments like Happy getting hit by a car for no reason. Chubbs' entire death, it was so random and pointless, just so he can get another shaking hand bit. But I feel like this movie didn't even need that to happen. Virginia falling for Happy is another one. And that's really about it.
It's all in the head. Yeah, it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. Get off of me!
A lot of people make the claim that Happy Gilmore is the best Adam Sandler movie. And while I do see that in some areas, I have my own personal bias towards Grown Up. I would definitely put Happy Gilmore in the top 5. You got movies like The Waterboy, Billy Madison, and even just looking at the name of Adam Sandler's production company, Happy Madison, you know where the inspiration came. While Adam Sandler's had a lot of stinkers of movies, looking at you, Jack and Jill, it is undoubtedly true that Happy Gilmore ranks above most of Adam Sandler's catalog. Let's go ahead and start with King of the Hill. For those of you that don't know what King of the Hill is, that is where I rank all the movies that I've covered so far, and I decide what the best movie I've covered is. My current King of the Hill is Inglourious Basterds, and I think it's safe to say that Inglourious Basterds is not losing that spot right now. These two movies are just hard to compare with one another. I like Happy Gilmore for a lot of different reasons than I like Inglourious Basterds, which kind of explains my rating of this movie a little bit more. As for my rating, I'll give this movie a 7. There's a lot of things objectively I can't ignore, but I do have my own personal bias towards Adam Sandler, and I do believe that this movie is actually pretty good. So with that being said, Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore, 7 out of 10, and at least in the top 5 of the Adam Sandler catalog. Thank you all for tuning into this movie review. Please let me know what else you want me to review. If you guys want to give more suggestions, go ahead and join our Discord server. A link will be provided in the description of this video. Also, make sure to go check out our Instagram at ShepBandicootClips, and of course, go follow us on Twitch. Thank you all for watching.
You're in big trouble, though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No.